Hey everybody, welcome this morning to the Village Church, and thank you for taking the time to be here and participate. Thanks for, letting me, Dan, giving me the opportunity to be able to speak to you folks today. The topic, the sermon that I wanted to speak to you about is, initially it was going to be on renewing your mind, really on the Bible verse, and that's what today's topic is about, is our minds. And then the more that I was doing my preparation and whatnot, I really felt that it was more about making up your mind. And a quote that I found from Psychology Wiki is, in popular usage, the mind is frequently synonymous with thought. It is private conversation with ourselves that we carry on inside our heads. Thus we make up our mind, we change our mind, or are of two minds about something. One of the key attributes of the mind in this sense is that it is a private sphere to which no one but the owner has access. No one else can know our mind. But we as Christians, we know that God knows our mind. Psalm 139 verse 2, you know when I sit down and you know when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. People can only interpret what we consciously or unconsciously communicate. So what does Paul mean when he says in Romans 12:2, do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind? I personally listened to Joyce Meyer. I found her teachings very practical and very useful. And one thing she quotes is that where the mind goes, the man follows. It is the thought that enters your mind that can control and propel us to success or failure. I have fought against my thoughts my whole life. Fear of confrontation, circumstances, or failure have held a grip on me for many years. It wasn't until I put my whole trust in God and gave complete control to Him that I began to have success in this area. Again, Joyce Meyer, do it afraid. But it was a choice. I had to make that choice to commit to my mind being focused on the Bible, on the words that God is saying to us. A great quote by Roy T. Bennett says, the biggest wall you have to climb is the one you build in your mind. Never let your mind talk you out of your dreams, trick you into giving up. And this is exactly what the devil wants. He wants our minds to become distracted. These are perfect little things that seeds can get planted. And he can use these things to create doubt, to create fear. So never let your mind become the greatest obstacle to success. Get your mind on the right track and the rest will follow. And I put right here in my notes, how true is that? That when we get our mind on the right track, it's amazing the direction that it can take us. But only we can choose what thoughts to hold on to. God will not do it for us. He gives us the tools, and a perfect example is the Bible. This is an amazing tool that we have. Really, it's the roadmap for our lives. When we plug into this word, it gives us the strength that we need to carry on. But again, we need to make the decision to make that change. It's hard, but it's worth it. For me, I'm a very impatient person. You can ask my wife, she will vouch for that there are times where I've wanted things to happen a lot quicker than expected, or just the way things go. And when I made a conscious decision to really focus my thoughts, to control my mind on what I would focus on, I was to a certain degree impatient. I expected that when I made that choice that it would happen instantly, that there would be this change. Well, you know what? It takes time. It's a repeat, day in, day out, focusing making the right choices, setting our minds and staying focused on that. We have to give ourselves time. We have to be patient with ourselves. And it's taken whatever length of time of being in this mindset. It's going to take time for us to be able to get out of that mindset. I'll admit it, I'm in my late 40s, and years I've had this mindset. It's going to take that long, or maybe not quite that long, I hope, but with the help of the Bible, with the help of the Spirit, it's going to take time to move that needle. So the 3 points that I want to talk about today really come from that first quote that I shared with you, and that is, and the first point that I want to talk about is changing our minds. Change is hard, especially when you're a creature of habit. I worked shift work for many years, and shift work for me was a lot about habits. I became a creature to certain things, especially when I worked midnights. I was a very routine person. I had very set schedule and just the way things follow. So it can be hard to change. I think many of you have heard this, and feel free to put up your hands if you have. What's the definition of insanity? Definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So we have to make the choice. We have to choose to change our thinking. What influences us? Music, television, social media, the people that we're around, people at work, certain things that are said, that influences us. There was a time where I would listen, when I was angry, I'd listen to angry music. Well, what did that do? That just made me angrier. It was this weird thing, and I don't know why I ever did it, but that's kind of the thing. Sometimes that will influence you, and actually, if you want to call it, add fuel to the fire. Social media these days. So just to kind of give you some statistics, I like statistics. They kind of help to put things into perspective. Facebook has 300 million photos uploaded each day. YouTube, 300 hours of video are uploaded each day. Instagram, 95 million photos on Instagram. 1 billion tweets a week on Twitter, and 3 billion Snapchats a day on Snapchat. That's a lot of influence. That's a lot of what, and I'm not saying that, social media is bad. I mean, especially during the pandemic, it was a way for all of us to be able to connect virtually. But what I want to encourage you is what on those platforms is influencing you. I've become very selective in what I follow, who I follow, what I watch. Music that, I've gone back through playlists and removed some songs just because of some of the words, or maybe there was a connotation that was in that really I didn't feel was a good influence. So I had to change my mind. I had to change what influenced it. But we have to sometimes, we allow something we've seen or heard to plant a seed in our mind, and oftentimes it causes us to act on it, whether it's a hurtful word or dissension in a relationship. It can cause breakdown with friendships or relationships, that sort of thing. You have to make the choice, and I had to make a choice to speak my feelings out. Really, I learned the value of that. Thank God for Tanya. When I was younger, in my school days, I struggled and with speaking, and it was even harder because I was bullied, and I chose to build a wall around me. So she really impressed upon me the importance of talking, to open up, to share my thoughts. They didn't always make sense, but they came out wrong. But it helped me to take what was in my head, speak it, And a lot of times what I was thinking, and once I said it, it didn't have power over me anymore. Fear plagued me for many years. It was an internal thing. It would cause me to tremor. It would cause me anxiety. I would struggle. A big fear for me was public speaking. I know it. Me being up here really shows the power of God and the choice. Again, I shared earlier about that quote from Joyce Meyer, to do it afraid. It really gripped me. It wasn't until maybe I want to say about a year and a half ago that this opportunity, a new career came for me, and part of that career was speaking in front of people. And I had no choice. That was going to be part of the job, and it scared me. But I made the choice to do it afraid. And I'm so grateful now that I have the opportunity to be able to stand here, and really I feel humbled that Dan would ask me to take this opportunity to be able to speak to you. I think it's a huge blessing, and it really shows the power that God can have on our lives if we allow it. The next topic, or the second point that I want to talk about, is changing our minds, making up our mind. For some, this is stubbornness. For some, it's a choice to ignore a task or something we really want to do. We really don't want to do. Procrastination. Homework. I think many of us, whether we as kids growing up in school, or even our kids that are going through school right now, we harp on them to get their work done so they can go outside, but they want to drag it on and on. They procrastinate. It's no different in our spiritual lives. We'll drag something out and procrastinate on it. And it's funny that you do it and you're like, oh, why did I wait so long for this to happen? But a really good scripture verse is Ephesians 4:22. To be made new in the attitude of your mind. Remove those blockages. Make those changes. A great quote by Marcus Aurelius: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Set your mind. And I will say that really this year, a big focus for me has been on the mind. To choose right thinking. Set your mind. Choose good influences. Make small goals for yourself. Don't make these huge, lofty goals. It's difficult to climb Everest in one day, but you know what? You can take, you can take small steps and you'll get there. Make up your mind to read the Bible, to read a verse a day, to say one prayer. Something that I started with every morning now. I know that I'd shared with you guys a few months ago when Dan and myself sat down and had that conversation about the Hearing God seminar. It was the Lord's Prayer, saying the Lord's Prayer every day. Really that sums it up. It's a great starting point. Expand on it as you go. Perhaps sign up for a Bible study. So in the last point that I want to talk to you today about is being of two minds. And when I think about this, I think of it as being undecided or being on the fence. And really what I want to challenge you with today is especially the verse Matthew 22:37. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Not just heart and soul, but all of it. How important is that to make that choice, make that stand, and choose to live the life that Jesus wants for us. I lived my whole life for years on the fence. I was raised in the church. I went on missions. I was overseas for a year and a half. And I thought for the longest time that, I had Jesus in my heart, and I believed the Bible, but I don't know if I was living it. I think that for a lot of it, I was a Christian, but I wasn't living as a Christian. And I could tell I was miserable, I was torn, I could feel that I was not where God wanted me to be. I was not in a relationship with Him the way He desires us to have. And what really, the verse that spoke to me about that, Revelation 3:16. So because you were lukewarm and neither hot nor cold, I will spit you from my mouth. And how important is that to know that God takes it seriously. He takes our relationship with Him seriously. He paid a price that none of us can ever pay. And how grateful I am for that gift that He's given me. And I made that conscious decision that I would live my life 100% for Him. So do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. Romans 12:2. And when I hear that word renewing, I think of transformation. It's almost, to me, it's almost like a rebirth of the mind. That's to separate us from those things that influence us, that easily entrap us, that cause us to veer from the path that we're on. It's important, just like a ship in the ocean, to stay the course. Galatians 5:1. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourself again be burdened by a yoke of slavery. Throw off that what enslaves us, what captures the mind and influences us and takes us away from what joy and peace God would bring and wants to give to us. Allow the fruit of the Spirit to take hold of our lives. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Paul says, live by the Spirit and you will not gratify the desires of the sinful nature. So in closing, out of the message today, I want to challenge you to choose right thinking. Choose what influences you. Make the commitment to stand firm for Jesus even when it's hard. And a great quote, again, I know I've used her a couple times now, but when I talked earlier about influence, for me, music, definitely more involved, more Christian music for there's so much there. Teachings, I love listening to, two of my favorite preachers are David Jeremiah. I love the doctrine that he speaks about. I love the influence, and I encourage you to find somebody that helps you to really make things practical. And that's, for me, I found with Joyce Meyer, and a great quote from her, and I'm going to kind of sum up today's sermon, is watch your thoughts, they will become your words. Watch your words because your words become your actions, and your actions become your habits, and your habits become your character, and your character becomes your destiny. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great day. Have a blessed day. Let's all make the choice to, work on our mindset and focus on that. So have a great day, everybody.
I just want to encourage you to hit all the like buttons on this video. It helps us to know that you're watching. As well, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page and our Instagram, and do ask how you can be included in one of our tiny village churches.